I'll get 2 double-vaxxed McChickens, thanks.
Did you know that there are plenty of surprising ways McDonald's makes money besides just selling burgers? What do you think the biggest McMoney maker is? Let us know in the comments and then watch to see if you're right. So forget about the billions of burgers served. We've got 11 ways McDonald's makes some serious moolah.
The race to McDonald's is on!
That's entertainment.
Are you not entertained?
There are a few things you might think of when it comes to McDonald's. The timeless, iconic Golden Arches logo, maybe Ronald McDonald himself, but the first thought that comes to mind is probably the burgers. The bigger picture of the McDonald's corporate juggernaut can be a little hard to grasp, since they have, at first glance, seemed to be so strictly focused on making money through hamburgers, spending decades triumphantly proclaiming the number of burgers sold on each restaurant sign, with the eventual slogan 99 billion served becoming retired in the mid-1990s for a more vague billions and billions served, and estimates place the number at well over 300 billion burgers sold by the mid-2010s. So it's strange to think that the burgers are just a small piece of the bigger McD's puzzle. Mickey D's has been no stranger to trying unique ways to generate sales, and this one is so unique it's the only one of its kind. Casually known as Epic McD, but technically named the world's largest entertainment McDonald's and play place, this massive McDonald's location lives up to its name. Located in Orlando, Florida, and conveniently situated just 15 minutes from the neighboring attractions at Disney World, this destination restaurant is 2 stories high, has multiple drive-through lanes, and is open 24 hours a day every day of the year.
Come on! Yes!
Just in case the kids didn't have enough fun at Disney World, the second floor features an oversized treehouse-themed play place alongside an arcade and a daily Mickey D's Magic and Mayhem comedy magic show. But on the main floor, the fun is all in the food. The typical menu items you know and love are offered, but items like pizza from brick-fired ovens are offered alongside build-your-own pasta, and sandwich offerings include a Philly cheesesteak. For dessert, cheesecake and peanut butter explosion cake offer upgrades from the standard baked apple pies you'll find at your local McDonald's. While this amazing location is a surefire cash cow, it's the only one of its kind.
I love it in here.
Coffee break.
Add some frap chips, please. Oh, and a pup cup.
McDonald's sells almost 75 burgers every single second across the USA, which works out to about 6 million burgers a year. The one thing that might be even more widely consumed, however, starts being purchased much earlier in the day: good old-fashioned cups of joe. Americans chug down an average of 146 billion cups of coffee from coast to coast every year. Surveys from early 2023 suggested that the traditional single morning cup was barely enough to get people's motor running, with more than half of coffee drinkers having a total of at least 3 cups every day. Hence the aggressive strategy from McDonald's to make bank from selling those cups of brew. Much like the Canadian invention of the McFlurry in 1995 that made a global impact, McCafe as a premium coffee got its first start in Australia in 1993 before getting its first nationwide American rollout in 2009.
I'm not just making coffee, making love.
McCafe premium coffee stations were rolled out to 11,000 Golden Arches locations that year and haven't slowed down since. Today, McDonald's sits comfortably as a major player in the quick-serve coffee market to the tune of almost 8 million cups sold a day. And the focus will continue, with the company stating it plans to establish McCafe as a permanent core menu offering and exclusive brand, which they'll do by improving taste, consistency, and availability when they reduce down to just 5 global suppliers to create a, quote, gold standard execution, which will bring in even more bucks from those beans.
I was just wondering where you get those beans.
The coffee is going cosmic.
We're going to space.
Staying competitive in the ever-growing beverage market is a key to cash for the higher-ups at Mickey D's, since nationwide and industry-wide beverage sales were up by 13% in 2022, and sales at beverage spots that also carried snacks jumped 14% that same year. And their space-age concept to do so is right on brand, since it gets very cold in the vacuum of space. Cosmix is a new space-themed spin-off concept from McDonald's, and a scaled-down, beverage-centric cafe feel will be the heart of the new spin-off. Cosmix carries 10 different hot brews, including cappuccinos, lattes, mocha, hot chocolate, as well as 3 kinds of tea. It also features 10 different cold brews to catch the cool coffee wave, including an iced chai tea latte, an iced turmeric spice latte, and a s'mores cold brew.
Use the s'more, Jerry.
And if coffee isn't your vibe, they'll have nearly a dozen combined tastes of lemonades or iced teas, 4 different galactic boost drinks, and 6 varieties of slushes and frappes. Cosmix opened its first test location as a drive-thru only spot in Illinois in December of 2023, and 10 pilot restaurants are planned to open across the country before 2024 is out, with most of them centered in Texas for Phase 2 of testing. If you're lucky enough to stumble on a Cosmix, the amount they'll be making from drinks will surely make us forget all about the money we've spent on those signature burgers. Birthday bucks. Whether they admit it or not, McDonald's has always marketed to children and their piggy banks, and the fact that the rest of the family and their wallets tag along too only sweetens the deal. In the 1960s, the original version of Ronald McDonald appeared in a series of commercials where he made friends with kids and took them to their nearest McDonald's. In the 1970s, the cast of McD's characters expanded to include familiar faces like the Hamburglar and Grimace. By the 1980s, Birdie and Early Bird joined the team to convince kids to start the day with McDonald's then new breakfast menu, and the McNugget Buddies and Happy Meal gang weren't far behind. And if kids needed more than colorful cartoon characters and Happy Meals, the late 1980s brought the modernized McDonald's Play Place into the fold. Play Places had been around since the first was built at a California McDonald's location in the 1970s, and the recognizable version of crawl tubes, ball pits, and slides was a big hit with kids. They were even successful enough by 1991 to warrant the creation of spin-off locations named Leaps and Bounds that featured a similar indoor playground concept as the Play Place without the hassle of having to be attached to a brick-and-mortar McDonald's restaurant. But the one kid-centric moneymaker over all those decades that could bring in the most kids all at once was birthday parties. Hosting birthday parties at the Golden Arches is a company tradition that's been around since the 70s, when play places were more of a traditional outdoor playground setting. Picture a Mayor McCheese-shaped jungle gym and you're on the right track, and have carried on as a hit ever since.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect.
Pricing varies by location, but generally speaking, a cost of $10 per kid for 10 kids and $5 for any additional guest seems to be the average. So the birthday bucks add up as a big cash cow driven by all those birthday burgers, or McNuggets, or whatever the Happy Meal choice is per kid. Options to have everything delivered and hosted at home saves the parents from doing any traveling, but the ones hosted at Mickey D's save the hassle of cleaning up. Either way, McDonald's provides 10 Happy Meals and a free one for the birthday kid, plus familiar birthday fare like decorations, party hats, goodie bags, and McDonald's branded ice cream. Some locations even provide a sheet cake, since after all, it might be pretty difficult to blow out candles that are stuck in a melting ice cream cone. So McDonald's birthday hosting service brings in big revenue from their smallest customers.
Just when you think you're safe, it's your birthday again!
First time here? Well, become an official BabbleTopper by taking a quick second to hit that subscribe button. Now, back to McD's making McBucks.
Let's make some money, people.
Big fun for big kids.
Kids!
Selling to kids is a no-brainer moneymaker for Mickey D's, but there are times they've appealed to the kid in all of us, too. Happy Meals are a hit with the little ones, but for all you big kids out there, the adult Happy Meal focuses on selling you a box of nostalgia just as much as it might sell you a box of food. The first adult Happy Meal rollout happened in 2022, cashing in with adult-sized food options in brightly colored, artistic, adult-sized Happy Meal boxes. The first run was a collaboration with fashionable streetwear brand Cactus Plant Flea Market, well known for collabs with big brands like Nike and celebrities like Kid Cudi. The brand releases extremely limited edition clothing that eventually sells for high prices due to demand, and that business philosophy might have been the idea behind the grown-up Happy Meal crossover. The adult Happy Meal was officially named the I Heart Cactus Plant Flea Market box, and the collectible toys featured Grimace, the Hamburglar, and Birdie, alongside Cactus Plant Flea Market's four-eyed smiley face mascot wearing some Mickey D's merchandise. Oh, and his McDonald Land pals also featured the brand's signature four-eyed look, which at first glance must have confused more than one adult customer to get their glasses checked as they tried to recapture their childhood.
We're all adults, so can I get 4 adult Happy Meals?
The offbeat but somehow appealing rollout was a major success at the cash registers, and a year later in 2023, McDonald's collaborated on another adult Happy Meal to sell youthful feelings to adults with disposable income. The Kerwin Frost box, designed by DJ and interviewer Kerwin Frost, also brought fashion and streetwise looks to the adult box. The line also featured 4 collectible toys, with Frost reimagining the McNugget Buddies in updated outfits that included interchangeable parts, encouraging customers to collect all 4 buddies along the way. With both the Cactus Plant and Kerwin Frost versions, the options for eats were a Big Mac meal or a 10-piece McNuggets meal. With both the boxes and their contents becoming sought after on the collector's market, there's a strong likelihood that more limited-release adult Happy Meal team-ups will be coming in the near future. So start saving up, because as long as your inner child gets an allowance, McDonald's will find a way to rake it in.
Lots of money.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Oh, we love McDonald's.
One of the best ways for the Golden Arches to get money from its customers is by always giving them somewhere to make a purchase, and they accomplish that by having as many locations as possible. As what might be the most accessible fast food chain across the world, there are nearly 70 million customers every day that buy something from the more than 40,000 McDonald's locations spread around the globe. And the company has recently announced ambitious plans to get that total number up to 50,000 locations by 2027. The closest competition in terms of locations are Subway with 30,000 spots worldwide, KFC at 27,000, and Starbucks, which has expanded to 36,000 locations. The numbers overwhelm the competition here at home, too, where McDonald's has over 13,400 coast-to-coast restaurants, and they plan to add another 3,000 to that count by 2027.
And now here we are, enjoying a meal like gentlemen.
The current number already makes them the easiest to find in the burger industry, doubling up on Wendy's 7,100 locations or BK's 6,800. That backs up the convenience factor, since you're twice as likely to spot the Golden Arches sign than the Burger King's crown or Wendy's trademarked pigtails. Except for a spot in the northern Nevada desert, customers situated in the lower 48 are always within 115 miles of a McDonald's. But of course, having to be physically near a McDonald's is a thing of the past thanks to modern mobile ordering, and McDonald's states that they have the world's largest and most successful mobile ordering program, which makes earning a buck even easier for them. Originally partnered with Uber Eats before developing its own app, Mickey D's had just 7,800 restaurants participating in mobile ordering by 2017, but they nearly doubled that to just under 14,000 less than a year later to get almost every domestic restaurant on board. And today, the company's preparing and delivering 55,000 mobile orders at any given moment. So whether you're actually stepping into a store or just clicking a few buttons on your phone, McDonald's is doing everything possible to make it easy to make your purchase and put more cash in Ronald's pocket.
I need more money.
Bringing home the bacon.
Bacon pancakes, making bacon pancakes.
Forget about breakfast being the most important meal of the day. For McDonald's, it's important to their bottom line. Switching their focus from burgers to bacon and eggs, McDonald's took its first swing at breakfast foods in 1972 by introducing the Egg McMuffin to select markets as an open-faced sandwich served with a side of jam, costing just 63 cents each. Development for the Egg McMuffin took almost a year, and it was originally designed with hollandaise sauce and was critical to the development of the O-shaped metal egg cracker that gives Mickey D's eggs their shape. The OG McMuffin was enough of a success to get a full national rollout by 1975, and the company then went to work on research and development for an expanded breakfast menu that debuted in 1977. Original lineup items included the classic Egg McMuffin alongside favorites like hotcakes, sausage, scrambled eggs, and hash browns. You could even get a Danish for dessert. Pioneering the fast food breakfast market, McDonald's made plenty of moolah from their morning menu while the rest of the fast food world tried to catch up. Burger King was next in line, making a failed attempt in 1979 before regrouping for a more permanent breakfast lineup in 1983. Wendy's first experimented with breakfast in 1985 with some fancier morning options, including a scrambled egg platter, French toast, and 4 different made-to-order omelets, but eventually bowed out after just 9 months.
That was fast.
As the undisputed leader of quick-serve breakfast, Mickey D's had room to try new things over the years without worrying if they'd lose ground to the competition, like introducing breakfast bagels in 1999 and rolling out the McGriddle 4 years later in 2003. The eggy excellence has been enough of a profit generator that eventually the decision was made to extend the sale of breakfast hours past the usual times of 10:30 a.m. or 11 a.m. depending on the market, and all-day breakfast was officially announced in 2015. Breakfast items were popular enough to be sold at any time and stood on their own until all-day breakfast was pulled from operations during the constraints of the 2020 pandemic. Still, regular old morning menu breakfast remains strong as ever, even surpassing the lunch and dinner rush hours. In fact, coming out of 2020, Mickey D's breakfast recovered to earn $2.2 billion to itself in 2021, and even today accounts for 25% or 1/4 of total sales across the country. With the competition hungry for a chunk of that cash, Taco Bell has been into breakfast since 2014, and Wendy's is making their second attempt after bringing back full-time breakfast in 2020. But as long as McDonald's keeps rolling out those trademarked big breakfasts, they'll be the ones raking in the most breakfast bucks.
We stopped serving breakfast at 10:30.
Ah, horse!
Only while supplies last.
I'd like the McRib to be available year-round.
One of the best ways McDonald's makes money is by making customers really want something that they routinely take away. Over the years, many menu items are or were only featured seasonally and regionally, with these 3 words attached: limited time only. As opposed to burgers that you can get around the clock all year round, plenty of items have come and gone and returned once more, with Mighty Wings, McLobster, chicken fajitas, or sirloin steakhouse burgers just some of the stuff on the list. But the best example of this concept is the longest-running one, the McRib.
Lois, it's back!
After being test marketed well in 1980, the 1981 rollout actually went much worse, and it was pulled from the menu in 1985. By 1989, it was back, but fell off again before settling into returning sporadically ever since, only giving fans a little taste every once in a while. There are several theories about the simple, low-ingredient sandwich and why it doesn't stick around, like McDonald's only selling it when pork prices are low enough to buy in bulk, or that the McRib itself is just a ploy to get customers in the door and spend on other impulse buy menu items. Not popular enough to stay around permanently, but always a big seller when it does show up, the McRib is perhaps the best example of McDonald's making money by intentionally not selling something in the first place.
Hey, I hear the McRib is back.
McMerchandising.
Merchandising.
Sometimes the product is less important than the branding, and bringing customers in by reputation and word of mouth is one of the company's biggest financial strategies. Through the years, the company brand has been big enough to be licensed for a cavalcade of money-generating opportunities. In the 1970s, customers were given free paper McDonald's hats with purchase to rep the restaurant. And by 1976, a line of Remco action figures featuring the McDonaldland gang were released. In 1988, a line of 12 to 15-inch vinyl plush toys featuring Ronald, Birdie, and Grimace became available for purchase. The 1990s brought us a wave of licensed crossovers with Hollywood blockbusters, including collector cups from movies like 1994's The Flintstones and 1995's Batman Forever.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
And a series of collectible plastic plates from Disney's 1997 Hercules animated film, all available for purchase at McDonald's. That same decade also brought the Mickey D's characters to life in media form when the MC Kids McDonald's video game was licensed to the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1992, and back in the days of VHS cassette home video, a series of 40-minute animated cartoons dubbed The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald was released from 1998 to 2003. These days, Mickey D's has reined it in and largely limits merchandising to t-shirts and other apparel through their officially licensed carriers.
It's weird swag, but people like it.
Just toying around.
Toy!
Although McDonald's wasn't the first burger joint to market to kids or to invent a meal specifically for the little tykes, they did eventually perfect the model to make it one of the company's biggest sales drivers. Predating the Happy Meal by a full 6 years, the Fun Meal from now defunct fast food chain Burger Chef was the first kids' meal to include a toy when it was introduced in 1973. Until then, balloons, lollipops, and trinkets were common for kids, but an actual playable toy hadn't been done yet. When McDonald's officially unveiled the trademarked Happy Meal in 1979, their nationwide reach made handing out small plastic pieces alongside the kid-sized mini meals the national standard. So much so that oftentimes the food became secondary to the toy, and the reason kids begged their parents to go to McDonald's. And that only increased once McDonald's started using licensed characters for toys instead of the usual fare of costumed McNugget buddies or McDonaldland characters like the Hamburglar and Grimace. The huge sales numbers soon led to crossovers with Disney movies, Hot Wheels, Barbie, Looney Tunes, Furby, My Little Pony, Tamagotchi, Hello Kitty, Power Rangers, Archie Comics, Super Mario Bros., and almost everything else imaginable.
We use a clown to sell Happy Meals to kids.
The toys had become so popular over the years that in 2019, McDonald's rolled out the surprise Happy Meal for a brief run in November 2019, which re-released 17 of the most popular Happy Meal toys ever made and handed them out in random meals. The math adds up pretty quickly for how much cash from kids the Happy Meal toys brings in, with Happy Meals themselves accounting for a mind-bending 20% of company sales. An approximated 1 billion Happy Meals are sold annually, and with each one of them including a toy, that means 1 billion pieces of plastic are being shipped out along with them. Those numbers equal or outpace toy sales from actual stores that sell toys like Target and Walmart, and manufacturers like Hasbro and Mattel that specifically focus on toy manufacturing. Almost unbelievably, this has solidified McDonald's as the single biggest toy distributor on the planet. Somebody tell Santa to park his sleigh this year because even jolly old Saint Nick can't keep pace with the toy-tossing moneymakers at McDonald's.
Toy. You want a toy?
McMonopoly.
How about Monopoly?
The famous Monopoly board game isn't the only way to scoop up all the real estate. With company stock hitting recent all-time highs and a 10% year-over-year increase in system-wide sales reaching $130 billion, it's a golden age for the Golden Arches. But as we've seen, much of that income is derived from ways you might not think of at first. And the biggest one might be the most surprising. The trick comes in that McDonald's focuses heavily on franchising their restaurants out to other owners, as opposed to the company owning locations itself. By the end of 2023, a whopping 95% of all McDonald's were owned by franchisees, which is less than the 99% franchisee-owned model at Burger King, but more than the 91% at Wendy's. However, it's the style of franchising that sets McDonald's apart, with franchise fees and rent bringing in $7.3 billion from real estate assets in the first 3 quarters of last year, and nearly cracking $10 billion by the end of the calendar year. That accounts for 63% of company revenue being generated from franchise fees, meaning only 37% is actually coming from traditional avenues like food sales.
Sorry, can I just add another cheeseburger meal?
Nah, not this time, love.
So it's the physical asset portfolio that's far and away McDonald's biggest moneymaker. Essentially functioning as a landlord to franchisees, McDonald's corporate owns the properties and leases them out, collecting that money on top of the usual percentage they'd already get from each store's food sales. Franchisees typically sign in for 20-year rental agreements, giving McDonald's security of both the fees and the food sales for their bottom line. The company reports that the total value of just the buildings, the property they are set on, and the restaurant equipment within is steadily evaluated at $42 billion just by itself, while that near $10 billion rent revenue that it generated last year was up by 9% from the year prior. So the physical properties all add up to dollar signs that are even more delicious than double quarter pounders. At some point, the company mascot might have to swap out his clown shoes and wig for a suit and tie, and Ronald McDonald just might have to change his name to Ronald Real Estate. We're serving up great videos 24/7, so just tap or click on one of these other ones we think you'll enjoy.